6 series so far. And this is all based on mental health. We've spoken about mental health and adolescents and teenagers. That was really, really profound because we tend to forget the children and we just think that they're resilient and they can cope. But they too are going through a lot with this pandemic and not with this second wave of Delta. So, and then we've had mental health, how to cope with adults. And then we've spoken about somebody with mental disorder and how she's been coping so far. Then we've also spoken about sleep. You know, sleep is so important. It's amazing how that is one thing we neglect. We look after our whole being, but we forget about sleep. And without sleep, we can't achieve all those things that we want to achieve with our health. We've also spoken about music, the effect of music on our well-being, mental well-being, what kind of music to listen to, how to relax and how to unwind. And we've spoken about where to get help. It's good that we speak about all these things, but then the people that need to speak to people, that need to reach out to people. So we spoke to Lagos Mind, and we spoke about getting help. They have a line, a dedicated line, which you can call. It's on our IG page. If you want to speak to somebody anonymously, you don't want anybody in your family to know. They have trained counselors at the other end of the phone who will speak to you and talk to you about your mental health. Anything you want to do. You know, sometimes you just want to talk. I don't want anybody to judge you. Those guys are there for you. So far, that's the 6 we've done so far. They're all on our YouTube page, apart from the one with music, which is on our IG Live. And so it's all about mental health. And today we're talking about our interiors, our living space, and how it affects our mental health. You know, everybody just thinks that, oh, I'm just going to go. A home, we talk about having a house, but we were talking about having a home, you know, having a home and what it is, what it takes, how it affects you. You know, especially if you live in Lagos, Nigeria, either in traffic or one thing is stressing you or the other, and you just want to go home to just relax and whine. What is that space? So today I have my sister friend, as I said, Karen Koshoni, with me. And I'm just going to introduce Karen. We're going to start immediately anyway. So hello everyone again, thank you, and we hope you will enjoy yourself. If you have questions, we'll try as much as possible to answer those questions, but we want to give Karen enough time to talk about what she's known for, what she's best at. We want to take everything from Karen. We want to suck her out today, so we may not be able to take questions.
I hope I give.
Karen, your connection's a bit, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oops.
So I said we want to suck out everything you have today. We want to take everything out from you.
And I said, I hope I have a lot to give. So
you have more than enough.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let me just go ahead and introduce Karen. Let me tell, Karen is an award-winning interior designer. She's the CEO and creative director of Urban Living, an award-winning interior store and furniture manufacturer. She does manufacture furniture here in Nigeria, and they are good. She's also a participating member of IDAN. She's a mother of 4 beautiful girls, 4 adorable girls. She's a lover of Christ. She uses what she does at furniture making to tell a story about God's glory, God's gift in her life. And we all know that to make this furniture is a gifting of God. The Bible says that it's giving us the ability to do curious works. And Karen does curious works with that furniture. Karen I've known for, how many years? Over 30 years?
Over 30
35 years?
Yeah.
Almost 40,
do we have to go all the years?
I'm just trying to even think of how long, you know.
Make us sound so old, though, but we've known, I think, about 35 years. About 35.
Okay, so we've known each other that long, so I'm trying to keep it as real as possible. So sometimes would talk about our backgrounds and whatnot. But Karen is my sister friend, as I said. She's my go-to person, and we both had different impacts on each other's life over the years. I'm sure you know, and she's a beautiful soul. We both like the same book by Francine Rivers, Redeeming Love. So if you haven't read that book, I tell you, please read that book. It tells you about God's grace, God's love for us. So, and we're both Christians, so pardon me if we talk about our Christian lives, but I mean, that's who we are. That's what makes us who we are. So Redeeming Love is one book that, you know, I think everyone should read. It looks inwards, and it makes you look inwards. But we're not talking about Redeeming Love as well. She's Karen loves the beach. So
Yep.
I guess you love the beach. She's half Trinidadian, so what do you expect?
Wow, that's true. Yeah, I'm a big.
So what do you expect from someone from Trinidad and Tobago? She would definitely love the beach. So, and that's a bit. I can go on and on about Karen, but I mean, let the Karen do what she does best. So, Karen, good evening. Thank you for joining us. And if I haven't done justice to your introduction, please go ahead and tell us what you want to know.
Said it all, but thank you inviting me into your community, as I call it. I've joined a few of your talks, and I've really enjoyed everyone that I've been. So I feel very privileged for you to invite me, and I hope I'm able to give back my experience in interiors and just in interiors. I think interior does for you as a person and your mind. So yeah, looking forward to this. And what do you need from me? What do you want me to talk about? What do you want to know?
So firstly, you know, that everybody, as I said, I mean, well, let's prove me wrong. Is it true, or is it that our environment has an impact on our well-being, our mental health well-being?
Very true.
Did you hear me, Karen?
I mean, there's no way.
So
yeah, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second. I think I need to connect to some power. Okay, so can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes, I mean, our interiors is where that's where we live. This is where we interact. This is where literally we do everything. It's a reflection of who we are. So without a doubt, our interiors are definitely going to have an impact on our emotions, on our moods, on even our general reaction to life. Yes, I have to agree with you. It does have a huge impact on our mental health, our mental stability, our general emotional, I like to use the word, our emotional well-being.
Okay. So, but
what else?
I mean, our home just has furniture, has colors. How does that affect us, really?
I mean, where do I start? The first thing in my industry, what I always want to know, I want to know how the client, how, whoever I'm dealing with when I'm, designing a home or making furniture for a client. What is your relationship with your home? How do you view your home? Because what I've found in this interior world is, in Nigeria, a lot of us just view a home as somewhere where we go to sleep, where we just put down furniture. It's an in and out place. And even though I have to be honest, since the pandemic, I think because a lot of people had to stay at home, a lot of people are relating more to their homes now. But one of the things
fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of people are investing more in their homes, because I suppose what happened then was there was nowhere else to go. You had to be in your house. You had time to kind of look at your space. You really did feel the impact of the impact your home had on you. And this is something I always try to stress to people, that your home is not just a space where you put down furniture is a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of your mind. It's a reflection of your state of mind. It's a reflection of your style. It's a reflection of general passion for life and what you enjoy about life. So one of the things that I find, I don't want to go into mistakes or what people do and don't do, but so let me start with a positive note on how I think people need to look at their homes and the kind of things they need to do. I encourage people to embrace their homes, whether it's huge, whether it's 2 bedroom, whether it's a studio, doesn't really matter. What is the feeling that you get? How do you feel about your space? What would you like your home to give back to you as a person? How do you want to, when you walk into your home or your space, how do how do you interact? I want people to, that's the word, I want people to interact with their homes, not just a place to dump my clothes, a chair or bed, sofa. So I think that's the first.
So are you saying that when I come into my house, my home speaks to me? Are you saying that when I come into my home, it affects my mood and my mental state?
Yes, when you enter your home, I think some people, because so imagine that you're coming from a very stressful day from work, whatever business, and you walk into your home that's cluttered, is jointed, furniture out, clothes, and there are 2 areas that I
clothes in the bedroom, everywhere.
Your bedroom is your sanctuary,
I know.
Walk in and you just have clothes everywhere, so I always tell people we really need to pay attention because it does affect your mood. It does affect, you want to come into your home and wind down. You want to come into your home and switch off, and not come into your home and then start to, it's another sense of rising up because everywhere is just a mess and, upside down. So yes, those kind of things, even though it's a bit deeper, but that's just the general, there's so much that relates to a home, that the layout of your home, the colors on your wall, the amount of furniture that you have. There are many other things, that's relate, which I'm sure we're going to touch on in the course of our discussion and everything. But I want to know what do people want to know? How do people view their homes? That's what I would like to know.
Okay, can you please type it? My instant farm. Can you please type what you want Karen to talk about? For me, I mean, just what can we do to spice up a small space? Okay. Good question. For me, I know how important our room is with sleep, right? And as much as I'm going to answer up because as much as I try not to put things in my room, I try to declutter my room. The only thing I have, even books I'm reading, I try not to take them in because I know that affects my sleep. I try to have just my journal where I journal every evening what has gone on with my gratitude book, as it were. But sometimes I find out that sometimes I come on, I'm so super tired, and I'm removing my clothes and just dumping them everywhere. I'm being honest here. Sometimes those clothes can be there for 2 days.
Yeah, don't worry, it happens to the best of us.
All of those clothes can be there for 2 days. So until it starts, as you say, it starts getting into my brain, and I'm thinking, no, I can't do with this. And I start tidying up in the middle of the night. But what can we do not to put our clothes in the room?
Okay,
and
so
as someone said, what can we do when you have a small space? How do you make the space much bigger than it is?
I think, and it's a very important question because creating a sense of space always helps to lighten the pressure on the mind. So let's start with a small space. So the first thing I would say with a small space is, let's look at the walls first. What kind of paint do you have? So we always want to go with a a lighter wall paint on the walls, which will kind of open up the space. And without going too detailed, what kind of storage do you have in that room? It can be a small room, but I always say that you should try and have storage that's everything. So if you have a lot of books, do you have a bookcase? If you have a lot of clothes, but you do not have enough wardrobe space, do you have storage boxes? You know, we should always try, storage is key in any space, most especially your bedroom. It doesn't always have to be, oh, I have wardrobes. We can get storage boxes, even if it's the plastic ones. Everything is arranged, everything is labeled, it's tidied up, it's arranged neatly. Everything is about also how you organize your layout, how are things placed. But for a small room, the two things that I would say is lightening the room, ensuring that it's not a dark, pokey room. Maybe looking at your window blinds. Do you have heavy curtains that's blocking the light because we need light? Or do you have, can we change it to maybe wood Venetian blinds, lighter blinds, roller blinds that you can have up? And storage. Storage is key for putting things away. To be honest, with the dropping of the clothes, it's going to happen. And that's another thing we need to come to. We have to have that desire that you want your space to always look nice. You want your space to be, that sanctuary that you walk into. So you also have to make the effort as well, in your space. So I don't know if that answers.
So you spoke about something about colors.
Yes, the impact of colors.
Colors. What kind of colors should we be using in our homes? I mean, there's some people, I've been to some homes where the colors are really, really dark. I mean, you have burgundy on the wall, or what color, as deep as that. Does
No.
that help?
No, I mean, and this is something that we all need to make a bit of effort, when we're doing up our homes. To kind of study. First, there's two things. A lot of us, we might be passionate about certain colors that we personally like. And I think that's what happened with a lot of people. Oh, I love green, or I love dark blue. But I think people should make the effort to study, what do colors speak? What do they say in a space? So let's start with white, which is the general color that we all like to go for. Sometimes people just throw on white paint, and I'm always trying to correct people. There's warm white and there's cool white. So a lot of time I encourage people to study your colors. Go for a warm white. It's still white, but it works very nice with lighting. A cool white might give that very sterile, almost like a hospital-like kind of a very cold environment. Then if we're into colors, now burgundy is a no-no, red is a no-no, red is a fiery color. It's a very hot, warm color, that's better suited for. Okay, so in the psychology of colors, red is a color that stimulates your appetite. So you find that that's used in a lot of restaurants. Blue, yes. Blue is a common color, and you tend to maybe use that in bedrooms, in maybe bathrooms if you're painting, like a soft blue. Yellow is a very energizing color. So you
I
find
love yellow.
a lot of people. I mean, I think I had one of my first homes was all yellow in my living room. It's a very energizing color. Let's see, what other colors we have. Black. I love black, but I would use that as a feature color. It's a statement color, but it can also be a bit depressing and a bit cold. We have, what's another color that people like to use? Okay, so nowadays, a lot of people are going into grays. It's a very modern color. It's a light color, but it has to be used very carefully. So I tend to advise people to use a gray that has a brown undertone. which gives a nice modern but warm color, and it doesn't make the space look small. So really, it's really about knowing your colors, study your colors, see how it works. Everything is on the internet. Don't just slap on anything on your wall just because, oh, I like this color. Teal and blue are very interesting colors that because it kind of the so it's calming, it's stimulating. Uh, I encourage colors do say a lot depending
So,
on the rooms that you use them in. So it's very you go online, find out about what does this color say.
so okay. So if we want to talk about, so let's look at it on this color matter. So if, for example, I'm, I, I have a very stressful job. We both stay in Lagos, Nigeria. We know how Lagos can be stressful at times. What colors would you recommend I have in my home that when I come in calms me down and when I say calms me down, resets my brain? What I mean that because you're coming with so much aggression, you're stressed, there's traffic, it's somebody being silly on the road. So you're coming in, but you want to drive into your home or come into your home and just chill, calm. So what's that
Relax.
color that chills you down instantly? That makes you think, okay, yeah, it's time for me to reset and time to just calm down. What colors would you recommend?
White, an off-white is your most calming color because it just speaks serenity. It's it's the most calming color. But if you're into color, I would probably say maybe a very soft blue, a taupe. Um, I don't know if people are very familiar with the color taupe, which is really a gray with a hint of brown or beige. Those I would say are the colors, the common colors that I tend to work with. But the number one color I would say is a slight off-white. It's calm.
Okay.
It gives a sense of space.
Mm.
There's not too much hitting on your senses when you're walking. And so my first thing is I always advise if it's you're starting off with a new home or you're just trying to refresh, let's start with an off-white and later we can start building colors. But to answer your question, I would say Duntan, go with an off-white,
Okay.
soft white.
Okay. So what about before we go to the exteriors? Does plants have any part to play in this?
That's a huge, huge.
The way you said I'm like, how can you ask that question?
Me, I love my plants. I don't have too much, but I love my plants. I just love what it does. Especially in Nigeria where it's a lot of concrete. There's a lot of we don't live in an environment where we have parks and we have, tree
Mm-hmm.
lines, roads. So I always encourage people, apart from just the health benefits, that certain plants give you, release oxygen and stuff like that, and just purifying the air. But just bringing some greenery into your home automatically just lifts the home.
Mm.
I find that plants kind of calm you down. There's a nurturing element that it has on one. And there's so many ways, to bring in plants into your home, even if it's in a small space, just a potted plant, occasionally just have flowers in the house. I think plants are just very uplifting. Um, so that's a number one thing. I bring in plants, even if it's not um, big potted plants, but I always encourage
Mm-hmm.
even faux plants, as realistic as you can. Or I always try and put an orchid or something anytime I'm designing or styling a home. But I encourage people, please, please, try and put a small plant maybe it's on your console, something by your entry point, your living
Mm-hmm.
room. Yes, it's very vital. It does wonders, and I think it just livens up the space. It can take a dull room, just put in a potted plant. The transformation is instant. So yeah,
So
I hope
what
that
parts of the
answers.
house can we
Vital.
have plants?
Okay, so I like what we call them. I'm not an expert at the names, but my favorite at the moment is called a money plant, which does very well by light. And I like it's called a ficus plant, a ficus tree. It's got big green leaves.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
like that.
yeah, so those are the two that and then I have there's another plant that I always, and I forget the name. I will try and remember it at some point. Um,
There's mother-in-law's tongue.
huh?
There's the
What
mother-in-law's tongue.
I don't know that one at all.
You know it, you know it, you know it. So
Which is
so
that one?
I saw this plant and I really liked the plant, and someone said to me, oh, and I saw, you know, those, I said, oh, the mother-in-law's tongue. And it's like, what? No, I
What?
want this.
No, I've never heard
It's
that
called
one.
mother-in-law's. I will show you. I'm sure anybody can
Please, you have to
testify.
show me
It's
that
very
one.
common in Nigeria. Sorry?
No,
So I
I
don't
don't
think
think I've
that's the
ever heard that. I
Nigerian
think
name
it was
for
not
it.
that name.
Sorry?
Maybe not that name. I don't know it at that name. I don't know what the plant is, but
I'll
but
show you the
yes.
plants.
And
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 it's
I,
such an easy.
please, do you have it with, do you have it, can you show us now? Do you have it in your home?
No,
No?
I have it on my landing. I will have to
Oh.
disconnect all these things. Oh, it's called
No,
snake plant.
don't worry.
So
Sorry?
somebody said it's called snake plant.
Slave.
Or what do you call it? Is that snake plant? I'm seeing something on the chart. So does anybody know the mother-in-law's tongue? Any gardener here, please, before you people think I'm lying, because that is what I was told it was called. Okay, so Esosa says it's also called the snake plant. Aha, you see? So
Ah,
Karen, I'm sure you
okay.
know that plant. I will
Yes,
show
I
you that
think I
plant.
do. Yes, I think I know it. I think I know it, the snake plant. But I don't know, unless someone's going to describe it. But yes, go for, I encourage everyone to have plants, please. You can never go wrong, whether it's just to. But another thing, in the home, I find that please don't overdo it. Don't make a garden in your living room or your bedroom. Just have, two, three, depending on the space, because then also it can become a bit too cluttered and take away also from your interiors. But definitely plants are a must. They do a huge lot to the home.
Okay. So can we? I like the mother-in-law's plant. Okay, so can we? Another thing again is that I know in the health world they talk about having lavender in the room. Is that advisable?
Sorry.
Having
Having,
lavender plant. The lavender plant.
well, it helps with sleep. I mean, the scent
I know, but
itself. And another thing it does, it's a deterrent to flies, mosquitoes, insects. The scent, they don't like the scent at all. So I know that. I don't actually have it in my room. I have it on my balcony. But it's very, very helpful to use. I think it releases. I think the smell comes out in the evening, if I'm
oh
correct.
really?
Or there's another plant, one of them anyway. But yes, it is beneficial, just from the scent it gives to help relax and calm you down.
Oh,
I can't see any of the
interesting.
questions in case, so I think you're the only
Sorry,
one
I
that
didn't
can
hear
see the
you.
questions. I can't see any questions, so I think you're the only one who can see the questions.
Okay. No, so there are no questions really right now. Everyone's just
Okay.
like so.
Okay.
Mother-in-law's tongues are good interior plants and helps helps with the hair purification. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and they grow quite well indoors as well. And I know there's another one called, is it peace lily or some lily or love lily, some
Yes,
lily as well.
it's peace lily.
It's peace lily.
Yes, the peace lily. Yes, I think that's the one that comes with. I have that in my garden, actually.
And that
That's
comes out.
really, really good for purification as well of the air as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, some people know their plants.
Well, you see, I think all of a sudden, well, recently, I think I just got into plants. And when you go and start saying, so I like this plant, you look at it, as you say, internet is your best friend, and then you show the florist here, and they have their own names for it.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's how I got the
All kinds of
mother-in-law's
different
tongue.
names.
and the peace lily.
Peace lily,
Peace
yeah.
lily, yeah. And there's another one that creeps as well. I don't know, the devil's ivy.
Yeah, the
So
devil's ivy.
I have all the
These
street
are
names
all
for these
indoor.
plants.
These are good indoor plants that you're naming. These are good indoor plants, and it's easy to just even research and check up, which is what I do. You know, what are the plants that work indoors? Good for the bedroom, good for the living room. You know, what are the recommendations? So these are things that everybody can, take their time and just do a bit of research and sprouse up your home. I mean, there's so much that we can do, from working from lighting to the layout of our furniture, the kind of furniture um, um, that we use, the colors. I mean, there's a lot that goes into interiors. But I think the most important thing really is just, you know, loving your space, wanting your space to give back to you, because our spaces do give back to us. I think a lot of times what I've found is people want, we just want that perfect setting in maybe our living room. I want that perfect sofa without really considering one's lifestyle. And that's another thing we have to consider. What is your lifestyle? Are you somebody that uses your living room a lot, or are you a bedroom? I'm a bedroom person. I come into my home and I'm from my door is straight to my room. So it was very essential that my bedroom really is a sanctuary for me, somewhere that I can sit, that I can lie down. Every from my room had to be more perfect than my living room, because that's where I relax. So we need to all think, look, where is the space that I enjoy? Now, living rooms, yes, depending on the size of the house, is this an essential place? Because that's the first place you're going to entertain and you're going to have, your visitors coming. But it's essential that it should also reflect who you are and the kind of person that you are. So not just I have nice sofas and a nice chair. That's not what interiors is about for me, you know. So I think the most thing is that we all do need to take a bit of time to invest in our home. And when I mean invest in home, I'm not saying investing in furniture. I mean investing in how your home reflects you as a person and how you want to interact with your home, and how you want, like you said, when I come home, how do I want to, I want to, you want to feel a certain kind of way. So, some people want to walk into their home and feel, oh wow, my home is fantastic, it's glitzy, and some people just want to walk in and it's calm, and they don't have to think too much. So everybody has a way of how they want their house or their home to reflect to them, and so we need to pay particular attention. Okay, so let me put it this way. I'm someone, and people that know me, I like my fashion. And I
We
take
all
my
know that.
time. No, I say this because I try and encourage people the same way you will take time. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to be fashion. We all take time with what we wear, how the colors match and how the shoes fit. And how, the point is that we take time on our presentation outside. And that's what I'm trying to encourage people. You need to take even more time in how your home looks and how it reflects who you are. So, because it does, I mean, your home is for me, one of the biggest impacts on your mind, on your emotional stability, more than a lot of things, your home and your office where you work. So you find that even right now, a lot of companies are investing in the way their offices, how their the staff is interacting um, in their workplaces. I find that a lot of people are spending a bit more. It's no more just get a space and put a desk and put somebody in a room and that's it. No, there's more of an interaction, because they know to get a value from the staff, you need to put them in the right environment where they're stimulated and they're encouraged. So it is having a lot of impact in spaces.
Okay, so we've had a few questions. I'm trying to see. So someone said, the first question is, are diffusers and candles also good for lifting moods?
Yes, I'm a big candle person. I use diffusers, but I think I'm more a candle person. I think it sets the mood. It calms you down, relaxes you, it distresses you. So yes, I definitely highly recommend candles and diffusers. I think a lot of diffusers, what happens, we get diffusers, a lot of people get over, we have to consistently, turn sticks over to really enjoy diffusers.
Yes.
A lot of us just put the sticks in and you forget about it. And after 2 days, it's not smelling, nothing is happening there. So, but with a candle, it's an instant, you burn. And you burn your candles only for 2 hours. The smell does linger for a few hours. So I would highly recommend candles and diffusers.
Okay. Another question is Fenhoog. I think I hope I pronounced this right. Fenhoog and Shuhai still a relevant concept or an old trend?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
I hope I'm pronouncing this right. It's Chinese. I don't want to.
Oh,
I don't want
Feng Shui.
French.
Yes, yes. And there's even another one called, I think, the Indian Vax. And I have to be honest, I have used this in placing when I'm placing furniture. So I
Sorry,
would not.
hold on a second. But what is this? What is Feng Shui?
So Feng Shui is a Chinese way of creating balance in your home. Yes, it's how you position your furniture and also bringing in the element of stone, of if I can remember it off the top of my head, it's the elements of water, fire, like a rock, natural. What would I call it? Well, we call it using rocks and stones. So it's just bringing the natural elements into your home and also being able to position. So you will not put, they'll advise you, don't put a mirror in front of your bed because it's like you're bouncing. If you're, it's almost like bouncing. So if you're, like you've said, you're stressed, you come home, you get onto your bed, you're bouncing off that stressful energy back at you. So they advise you to put mirrors, and then maybe don't put your bed facing a doorway. So there are certain things that they advise, but but it's also trying to bring in just different natural elements into your home to create a good.
Okay. So that was when the concept that says short your loo. You know,
Okay, I couldn't hear.
There's something about making sure that your loo is short all the time. The cover is on the loo all the time rather than open it up because it's something about wastage and drawing resources from you if it's open.
Oh, sorry, I've not heard that one before. I can't help
So that was one of the things they spoke. Some lady came to talk about when I was in my health coaching class, and I didn't quite understand how the loo would draw from you when the seat is open.
Oh, I have to be honest with you. I haven't heard that one. I haven't come across that one.
I didn't know what she was talking about as well. So I just,
all right,
let me just learn it and pass my class and go and move and get my degree.
That one, you have thrown me to the deep end on that one. That one has not reached my own experience.
But I mean, when you spoke about this, all this earthly stuff, not bringing nature into the home, she spoke about it, and then she spoke about the loo, about wastage. But we're not talking about that today because I don't understand it. I just knew what it was. I just learned enough to pass that module. So, but so another question again is: I have a 16-old, but the house is always messy. Any pointers? And how can I start teaching her to be tidy and organized?
Okay, so one of the things, I think we all experience this with teenagers. And I
no, 16 months. This is a baby, 16 months.
Oh, 16 months. I couldn't say 16. Whatever age is storage. storage. And when I mean storage is, so if we're talking about a 16-month-old, well, that child is not even 2 yet. But I suppose you can, I suppose now, okay, what will the child be using at that age? It's usually toys. So do we have storage boxes for the child's toys? So those are the kind of things that you need to incorporate into. I suppose the child is never too young.
Karen, we are losing you. Karen, we can't hear you. Karen, can you hear me? Karen, we can't hear you. I can't hear you anyway. Can you guys hear Karen? I suddenly can't hear Karen. Or is it me? Karen, we can't hear you. You're muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear Karen. If you can hear me, please type on them so we know where the problem is. So no, Karen, we can't hear you. She'll log back in. I think she has bad connection. She'll log back in. But oh, we can hear me. Thank you. So Karen will log back in. I think we just lost that there. It must be a connection. So let's wait for Karen to log back in. Okay, Karen is logging back in. It's Karen's connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Karen, we can hear you now.
Sorry about that.
It was a connection. So we lost you then.
Yes. I think I was talking about storage
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying that in every child's room, one of the things that I learned is that for everything there must be storage, and the child needs to learn to be able to, this is what it's for. So if it's books, we have to incorporate a bookshelf. If it's toys, toy boxes, bedside tables. It's just space for everything, no matter how small. And then another thing is that I have to quickly touch on this is, can we not pile up? All of us are guilty of this. We pile up too many things that we don't know how to give out. Declutter.
We spoke about that earlier on today, Karen.
Declutter is the #1 rule in every home. We find, and we must always take time, you haven't used it in a while, throw it out, go through your things periodically, check in. It's one of the things that really, and we'll be very surprised how much pressure a lot of things, just having too many things, has on the mind. So maybe everyone should just take some time out tomorrow and just take out some things that you don't need, that you haven't used, and then see how you feel. It's a huge, very, very huge part of how your mind works, or how your interiors impact your mind. That decluttering.
Okay, so Karen, you're saying we should declutter. There's some things that you have, right? Like what we spoke about today, those old air ties, those old gillies, those old sagos, and that are out of fashion. And you have
what did I say?
We said years old. So what do we do with those?
Ask Instagram what you can do with it. No, but you're not going to use them. That's the truth. So really,
but they're outdated.
And so give it out. So for you, it's outdated. For some people, it's probably not outdated. You can give it out. I'm sure there are people that you can give, it's like giving out clothes. You can, I don't know if you can sell them, but the reality is that we all have to check our spaces, bedrooms, bathrooms. Women, we too many
odd.
lotions and makeup. Today, my daughter, I have to say the truth because I brought out something today, and my daughter said, "Mommy, you still have this thing." Honestly, it's like a highlighter, and I've had it. I think Ariane must have been about, oh God, I'm even so ashamed. She must have been like 5 or 6 years old. And I still have it now. But the truth is we hold on to a lot of things. And if we're really talking about interiors and our mental state, it's one of the number one things that weighs us down in our mind, and we don't realize it. You think that oh, I'm keeping it, old time's sake, or I will probably use it in a few months. I will come back. We give ourselves so
It's
many.
sentimental to me.
Yeah.
It
But we
reminds me
need
of a particular period in my life, and I want to remember that period, so I keep it.
No. We need to cut that out, and honestly, it has a huge impact on your, not only your space, but for me, when I declutter, the impact is more on my mental state. More than even the room that I have, opened up in the space. And another thing about living rooms, which sometimes because I love accessories, but I have to always watch myself because sometimes we can tend to go overboard, and then you start looking at your space and then it's too many things, maybe too many candles, but everything is so nice, but it just becomes too many, and then you lose that whole balance in your in the space, whatever space it is. So that's something that we all have to put an eye on. Is it becoming too much, and am I holding on to too many things?
Okay, there's a question. It says, what's your perspective on artificial plants as alternatives to natural plants?
Oh, I'm big on artificial plants, but I think it's also something you need to look for good artificial plants. I always have artificial orchids. I love the real ones, but they die so quickly. So I have a mix in my home. I have a mix of artificial, and I have real potted plants. So yes, I'm big on artificial plants, but please do try and get as realistic as you can, because they do have some very good ones out there. So yeah.
Okay. So people are telling me what to do with those gillies. Yodu, I didn't bring them back from London.
What
I got them in Lagos.
Instagram and ask them what you.
I never used to tag them in London. It's Lagos. Yes, Otiwa, I don't need them. I'll take pictures of them and frame. So someone said, I think we spoke about this already. Which colors are suited for bedrooms? I think we've touched on this. So let me move on to another question. It says, what color of carpets can I use for gray and teal furniture?
For gray and teal furniture. Is that the question?
Yeah, for gray and teal furniture.
I would say, well, going for a neutral gray rug, and maybe something that has a bit of maybe gold. So with gray, gold works very nicely, a bit of teal in it, but you want to keep your rug in a color that kind of blends your sofa. If the sofas are gray and maybe the armchairs are teal, or you have accents of teal, and depending on the space as well, if it's quite a big space, a nice teal rug would look really nice in the space. If it's a smaller space, maybe a subtle gray that has a bit of color in it.
Okay. So I think we've spoken quite a bit on the interiors. Should we just do a bit on exteriors as well? Having plants around your exteriors, how does that affect you? And so, I mean, I have a home garden where I grow most of the things I eat. All my herbs are grown. And I remember having a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about planting something, and I think, I said I'd run out of space, that I didn't have anywhere to plant. And And the person said, oh yes, we'll come back on the lights. Let's just do a bit on its exterior, so it's all rounded. And the person said, oh, remove all your plants that you have to beautify your exterior and plants there. And I'm like, but I still need that space. I still need my garden, and I need a beautiful garden to look out, and I need my home garden, but my farming garden, or whatever you want to call it.
The vegetable patch, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's our vegetable patch. I see my vegetable patch. I can't have vegetables around my home. And she lectured me on how I should be thinking of survival mode rather than plants that I cannot eat, you know. But I mean, that's the general concept I think we have here in Nigeria, that you don't need a garden. All you need is just vegetable patch, as long as you have space. So what is your take, Karen, on that?
I mean, I know, so for me, I'm big on a garden, I have to be honest. But I know there's this, well, we all need to be aware. And I think I don't have one, but I do want to have a small vegetable patch, even if it's just growing, say your mint leaves, or your leaves, your spices that you use for cooking, even if it's that alone. I think everybody should be encouraged to do that. But I am huge. I do not believe in concrete. I have to tell you the truth. My mind is so bad that in my home, I took up some of my car space and put a garden down. It was that bad for me, because we do need to have some element of nature around us. Even if you live in a block of flats and you have a small balcony, we have to create some kind of greenery. But for those that can, especially maybe people who are living in like, small estates where it's about 8 houses, we don't really have big garden spaces. But yeah, but you find that even with the space that they have, everywhere is concrete. Everybody just puts concrete. And really, we can even take a little bit of space by the wall, grow some bougainvillea, have a small, narrow grass patch. Just that little makes such a huge difference. So yeah, I'm big on green spaces, and I encourage everyone to try.
So does that affect us? Do you think that affects our mental health as well?
Yes, definitely. I mean, nature is always softer. That's nature, that's creation, as opposed to looking at concrete. You walk into your space and all you see is stone. You can imagine the two. What would have a calming effect on you? It would definitely be nature itself. So I definitely encourage everyone. And I know, I mean, if you can't do the green patch, then have nice big potted plants. Yes, so definitely.
I agree with you totally as well. I mean, there's space for everything. As I was trying to say to the lady, there's need for everything. There's a need for my vegetable patch, which I love, and there's a need for me to have my greens as well. I want to come back home and just see my plants, or even Christmas, decorate them for Christmas, put my Christmas lights on them. For me, it helps my mood, and it sets the mood for me. So I really agree on that with you as well.
Yeah, so, I think it creates. I mean, I talk to my plants. My kids
if everything,
walk around. So it also creates a very nurturing aspect in one. And that creates a bonding to your home and to your space, which is very, very, very important. So I walk around and I talk to my plants, and I walk. I go for my walks, and it's a very small, narrow garden, but I walk there, and it just calms me, and it just makes me feel that much happier. So anything that we can do to lift our emotional state of mind, especially in Nigeria, is essential.
And talking to plants really has. I mean, I had a help that just didn't like my plants, and anytime that particular security guard is on duty, my plants die. So I said to him that you have bad energy and the plants don't like you and they don't grow. And he was like,
Oh, wow.
what kind of thing is that? This is but it's true, because I talk to my plants. I have another guy who people say you have green fingers, but I don't think it's green fingers. I think it's the energy, and I think the fact that you interact with the plants, they enjoy it, especially our herbs. I mean, once I cut my tarragon and I talk to my tarragon, they just grow and grow and grow and grow. But I realize that when you don't have
nature
plants, and they
responds.
nurture you as well. Sorry?
Yes, I said nature responds to your energy, and what you're giving back to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Exactly. So they
You know.
give back a lot more.
Yeah. I
Cool.
mean, when you see your plants flourishing and growing, I mean, you're excited, you're happy, you're seeing something grow that you have taken care of. So
Exactly.
definitely does have an impact on your
And it
mood.
teaches you patience as well, and to be patient with God as well.
Very, very, very true. Did you say patience with God?
Yeah, when you're waiting on God for an answer.
Okay.
So
yes.
we like to rush God.
I never linked that to that's a good one. I never looked at it that way. Yeah, no, I know it teaches you patience, but I never linked it to where, you're waiting on God and, that patience that you're talking about. That's very true.
So I mean, I think plants really do a lot for us. I mean, I'm a plant lover. I love my garden. I love my plants. And for me, the spiritual aspect of it is so deep for me. When you plant something, it has to die and it has to grow. And it's the same thing with our walk with God.
Yes, that's
God for something. God works within us. We don't see him working as we don't see the plants growing.
But
then we start seeing them after a while, they start flourishing. And that's our relationship with Christ.
Yes.
We ask a question, we don't see it, we wait for the answers. It may take, for some people, it may take a year, it may take 10 years, it may take 18 years, it may take 20 years, but God will always respond. And the same thing with plants.
That's so true.
So another person asked again, any advice on lighting and how it helps with mood? Oh, Karen, let me let you do that talking.
Okay. Okay, so that's another thing that so we have your overhead lighting, we have your lamps, and that's something we all need to invest in the right kind of lighting, because dull lighting will dull your mood. That's just the bottom line. That it's essential. That, I mean, it's not every time you need some bright light, you want to be able to. So I think what it is really in your home, you need to be able to have different stages of lighting. So if right now we have the bright lights on, but in the evening I like to have my lamps on, which is a more mellow, relaxed, and in my room I have my lamps to calm me down. I have my reading light overhead. I have my dressing light. So it's, if you have the opportunity. Now, some of us in rented accommodation, if we're renting where we can't touch, what's there, then you have to improvise. So it's investing in lamps, standing lamps, bedside lamps, maybe changing even the bulbs in the existing. So lighting is very important. We need to know our bulbs. We need to know what level of light, how, it's carrying, and the different uses for the different kinds of light, basically. So, yes, no treatment.
Okay, somebody asked, how do we make interior decor affordable for the average?
How do you make it affordable? I think the first thing is, where do you shop? There's different, you can shop for interiors on so many levels. And I think really maybe what, please and correct me if I'm wrong, is, let me put it this way, is knowing maybe some essential things that you can use to make your home look nice. And we can buy, so we have orchids. Let me just start with a simple thing. Okay, let's start with a candle. We can get a candle as cheap as 7,000 naira, 5,000 naira, and you can get another candle even cheaper, 3,000 naira. And we can get candles of 100 and something thousand naira. So it's just researching and knowing the essentials. So let me say what the essentials to make your home look nice. And then you take your time and find out where can I get these things at a price that I can afford. So we've talked about the plants, candles, just to, you know, give you a nice aroma in your home. Soft furnishing, which are your cushions, caterpillars, whatever we want to. I don't know. People call them by different names. I just call them cushions. Um, books, trays. So just little things. It doesn't. It's knowing your style and just knowing the essential that can beautify your home, and then just finding your where you can find it at an affordable price. Me, I mix everything from IKEA to everywhere here in Nigeria. I go around. You know, it's a whole mix mash. I don't think interior is about expensive. You know, there's some things that you like, but I think the beauty of an home is a mix of all elements you like. So going even to the Lekki market is a very good start from to pick up
The
just
foreign markets as well, they have nice things.
yeah, yeah, yes. So you know, these are places that people can try, and you pick up some really nice original pieces. I'm very into the pieces, trying to be as original as possible.
Okay, so another thing is, someone says you touched on bedrooms, living room, and exterior. Please, can you touch on kitchens, especially for the women, and how it also helps their mood? Oh, kitchen. That's my best place in my home.
Why is it your best place? What do you love about it?
So in my kitchen, is where I distress. In my other life, I'm an event planner, and I find cooking very therapeutic. So the two things I do mostly is that I'm doing a cross stitching. I sew. I know they say it's an old woman's hobby, but it's very therapeutic. So, and I only do Disney cushions anyway, or Disney cross stitching, by the way. And then another thing is I cook. I may come in from an event at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. The first thing I do, if I can't sleep, if I'm wired up, is I just go into my kitchen and I just start cooking. Okay. Mind you, I don't eat the food I cook, but I just love to cook. So between like maybe 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., I could have made 4 different dishes, and I just put them in packs, label them, and put them in the fridge. You know, I have people that would eat it, and they're happy to eat it. But for me, it's somewhere I distress. Even if I don't come in at 2 a.m., if I come in from a bad traffic, you know, I go into my kitchen. So my kitchen for me is my own
that's your distress, your distress
place to distress. My kitchen is yellow. The ceiling of my kitchen is yellow. I mean, canary yellow, and I have white walls. You know, I have a very spacious kitchen because I like space. My pots, my pots too say a lot. My pot is yellow. So the things I have in my kitchen are yellow, metallic, and a bit of black. And then the walls are white because I need that space. I need to create that illusion of space. So it all depends, as Karen said, where do you spend your time the most? Where is your haven? Where's your place of succor?
For me, I don't know if it's you or if it's me.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Karen, I think it's you again.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
So, okay, so I was just talking about my kitchen. So, but that's for me as me. So, Karen, you are the interior designer. You are the expert on this. What is your take on kitchen? Karen, I think we're losing you again. You're frozen. Karen. So Karen may have to go out and come back and join us again, but we are most rounding up. But she's gonna come back and join us. Yes, feeding people is therapeutic. I agree. I just love cooking. I love feeding people. I'm trying to eat the food I cook. and we'll get them. Okay. What do you say? Look, thanks for the answer. I must say, Karen, you look very beautiful in real life. Thank you. I'll pass that message on to her when she logs back in. Let me see. Any other questions? We're about rounding up. We usually try to spend an hour and a bit, but we spent over an hour right now. But Karen is going to log back in again. So, yeah. So Karen is back in. So Karen, just before I forget, somebody did say that you look beautiful in real life than on this IG live. So you can you hear me, Karen? Oh, oh. Karen is going to come back in. Oh, thank you. You're coming from all the way from Joburg. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in. I hope it's been very useful. And I hope you can take some of the things that we said here back or use them in Joburg. Thank you for joining. We really appreciate. Okay. I'm trying to get Karen back on. I think internet is choppy. Karen, are you back?
Okay. Yes, I think I'm back on. Can
Yes,
you hear
I think
me?
you're on. Yes, I can hear you clearly now. Someone said you look. Someone said you're beautiful, and that you actually. Let me see.
Oh, thank you.
She says you're big. You're better looking in real life than this IG life.
Thank you. Oh, that's
And
embarrassing,
somebody
but thank you.
and
Thank
oh says thank you for the answer. Says I must say, Karen, you look very beautiful in real life.
Thank you very much. I can't really see. I
And this
wanted
is
to
from
talk
all the way
to you.
from Joburg.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh,
And
fantastic.
then we have a
Thank
mental
you.
health. We have a mental health nurse from London. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Karen, you
Uh,
were talking about the kitchen.
yes, I just wanted to quickly touch on what you were saying about your kitchen and how you've made your kitchen work for you, because that's what energizes you and, at the same time calms you down. And I think this is somewhere that a lot of us have to pay attention to. We find that the kitchen is one of the areas that really suffers a lot of declutter. We pile up plastics. Nigerians, we too much
Oh.
plastic. Our plastics, all kinds of pots, all kinds of things. And I find that the kitchen, apart from the fact that aesthetically on the outside it looks nice, we need to look within as well in our cupboards. And one of the things that I encourage people is we need space for storage. We it's the key, and things to be stored right. So in setting up your kitchen, or even just going to try and revamp your kitchen, one of the aspects that we need to look at is how does my storage, my existing storage, or if I want to go into my new storage, how is it going to work for me? A lot of people, we have stores. Most homes in Nigeria, they're built, we have stores attached to the kitchen. It's where people just dump their gari rice, bags of rice. It's, for me, it's no. We can, and it's something that I'm really, really promoting, is turning our store into an extension of your kitchen. And it doesn't take much to put proper shelving, get proper storage containers for, if possible, almost everything. It just keeps your mind organized. It keeps you organized. It keeps your staff organized. It also helps you realize what is old, what needs to be thrown out. Because you enter your cupboards and you have things for 5 years. They're not have got stale. So the kitchen is a big one for me. But I think time. Can't say too much, but yes. And your colors, like Duntan has used yellow. I don't think there's any limit on the kind of color cabinets that we can use. It's just what works for you. The general kitchen cabinet, because it's a lot of it tends to be a hot, where there's a lot of heat. So we try and use light colors, calming colors. But I've seen beautiful black kitchens, statement kitchens.
Yeah.
So you can really do anything. Please, the kitchen is not just where we cook. It's another beautiful extension of a home. And I
It's, a,
encourage you
it's,
to see your kitchen that way.
it's the heart of the home, actually.
It is the heart of the home. It really, really is. It is the heart of the home. So I think people really should pay attention and invest in your kitchen. It's a big part. And there's no part of the home that you shouldn't invest. From bathroom, I don't think we can even touch on everything. But
We can't.
every part of your home needs to be, you need to look at it with love, and just make it. I always say that the home is what really expresses who you are as a person. It's not even clothes, because that's the depth of where of who you are. I tell I tell my staff, I say I'm not a surface cleaner. I'm not one to just want when you come into my living room and my living room looks nice and then every other part of my house is upside down. Every single part has to play its part, because this is the bones really of who we are. So it's important that we invest. And it's not about it being expensive. We all have a budget. We all have to take that time to see where we can get the best value. But essentially, we have to remember that this is where we sleep, we wake, we eat, we dress. Important decisions are made in the home. This is where we're raising, if we have children, are raising our children. This is where, it's so much that goes on in the home. A lot of emotional. So that you need to create a place that is tranquil. It's where you can come and think straight. The sanctuary, basically.
And just talking about the home as well, and talking about everything you said as well, all these things that we've said today can be used in your offices as well. As Karen said, we can't touch on every aspect of the home or exterior, but this same principle as well can be used in your offices. That is where you think, that's where you make money, that is where you spend most of your time in the office than you do in your home. So your offices as well need to reflect you as well, needs to be tidy, needs to be you.
Yeah.
And there's something again, someone said, your home doesn't have to have, or doesn't have to smell expensive. When I mean smell, it doesn't have to be all expensive and everything, but as long as your home is tidy and things are done neatly, things are arranged nicely, you have nice candles burning, you'd find that your home will be even more accommodating to you and to other people as well, because they find peace, they find warmth in that home. That's what I'm trying to look for. So your home doesn't have to be expensive to be warm.
Yeah,
your home can be expensive and it's not warm. So you need a warm environment, and that's what I think Karen is trying to talk about. That we don't have to go all expensive, buy all expensive things. As long as it's tidy and it has love in it. Love is what builds the home, and that affects our mental space as well. Karen, before we round up, what tip are you just going to, what's one single tip or two tips you're just going to give us to make sure our home helps our mental state, regardless of everything we've spoken about today? Because we've spoken a lot.
Clean.
Keep
your house clean and decluttered. But I think the essential is that when you go through your home, look at every corner. When I mean clean, I'm not just talking about the floor swept and the table. That's part of it. But that everywhere is clean lines, clean spaces. And when I mean,
Oh, we're losing you again, Karen. Okay, you're back.
So sorry. Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. And removing clutter. So there's something that says that clutter is the enemy of serenity. So I think the number one thing, let me rephrase it, is declutter your home. Take out anything that's unnecessary and let your home breathe. That would be my number one tip.
Thank you very much. So
Thank you.
Declutter, and make it clean. And you know, the funniest thing is that when you declutter your home as well, it affects your other areas of your life as well. You just feel as if that
Really
I just
does.
need to take away things that rent space in my head.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Karen. Thank you for coming
Duntan.
on.
Thank you for having me and for everyone that joined. Thank you.
Thank
I
you
hope I
for
made
everyone that's
sense.
joined.
Sorry?
Sorry?
I
You
said I
made
hope
a
I
lot
made
of
sense.
sense. We learned a lot, at least I did. I hope everybody did, and I'm sure everybody did. And
It's a pleasure.
usually this will be on IG Live in a few minutes, and it will be on our YouTube page as well, which is Refreshed Healthy Living. So you can always come back to refresh your memory, or you go to our YouTube page. And as I said earlier on, we've touched on different topics. We've touched on sleep. How sleep is very important to you. We've spoken about music. We've spoken about teenagers and mental health. We've spoken about adults and mental health, and we've spoken about where you can get help from as well. So please, and all this that we've said, I must put this out there, that if you need to see a professional, everything we said here, we're not medical doctors, and we're not mental health experts in that field like that. So if you do have mental issues, when I mean issues, or you think you want to talk to somebody, please call the professionals, speak to them. It's better you speak to a professional once you notice it than when it's too late. And there are many people out there. There's Lagos Mind. This is not a sponsored post or anything, but the reason I'm pushing Lagos Mind is because they have counselors at the other end of the phone that are trained to talk to you on mental issues as well. Mental issues are a serious thing that we shouldn't just trivialize. So because if you know somebody and you can just get them to talk to a professional. And thank you very much for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing you in like 2-3 weeks time again, when we have somebody else talk on something else and our mental health. But we are very grateful for your time. We do appreciate it. We know it's Saturday evening. You could have been doing other things, but you chose to spend your evening with us, and we're saying thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Karen, for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And do have a very good evening and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye.
Bye.